Big names in pulling are here from all over the country in Raleigh, North Carolina to slug it out once again. Pick your favorite brand and join us for the action next. This is Trucks and Tractor Power, featuring the all-stars of the Redman TNT All-American Pulling Series. Welcome to the North Carolina State Fairgrounds for a show of horsepower from the modified 4x4 trucks. Hi, everyone. I'm Stan Rhodes. Glad to have you joining us once again here for Trucks and Tractor Power on the Nashville Network. And, of course, joining me once again, former Bigfoot driver Rich Hooser. And, Rich, what's all this talk about Ford versus Chevy?
Well, it's one thing, Stan, in the 4x4 class, the crowd really likes it because they can root for their favorite vehicle, whether it be Ford, Chevrolet, or Chrysler. But one thing they must know is these vehicles are built from the frame on up, not necessarily of these parts. Now, the sheet metal is Ford, Chevrolet, or Chrysler, and that's what they're rooting for. So when they're rooting for these vehicles, they're also rooting for the owners, the designers, and the builders of these vehicles.
All right, let's go down for a trackside perspective from Mike Goss.
Thanks, Stan. You know, weight distribution on a pulling vehicle is very, very important, but primarily so in the two-wheel drive classes where two wheels are under power. It's a different story with four-wheel drive trucks. All of the movable weight is on the front end of the truck. That keeps these front wheels, which are under power, pulled down to the ground. Now, in the rear end, there's no weight back here at all. The sled will keep these wheels pulled down to the ground. In fact, the rear end of this truck is so light that two men can pick it up and move it around.
All right, thanks, Mike. You know, Rich, it has rained here all week, but clear today. How's it going to affect the track?
Well, one thing, Stan, this is going to be a driver's track. Now, a lot of horsepower won't mean a whole lot. These guys are going to have to show their talents to get down this track.
All right, we'll get started with the action in just a moment. Back to Raleigh, Stan Rhodes, Rich Hooser, and Mike Goss here, and we're ready for our first puller. It's going to be Manuel Moreno Jr. in Yellow Rose of Texas, a former national champ, and he's our first official puller.
Yeah, and he's being a national champion. He's going to have to do what it takes to get down this track. Now, with all this rain, the track's not real good, and these guys are going to have to use their expertise.
And he's out of Seguin, Texas, ready to go. He's got the green flag. Let's see how well he'll do.
Okay, Stan, he comes out a little bit easy. Now, he's getting a little too much right there. I think he's kicking up a whole lot of dirt. Now, if he's starting to do that, he's losing traction. He's not biting into the hard dirt underneath that soft stuff since that rain. Now, he's got a little problem with the engine right there. A little bit of smoke coming out. It's not a real good pull, Stan.
I guess not. Just 260.72 feet. I guess this track is sure going to be tough for a full pull.
That's right, Stan. It's going to be real tough. This track has a lot of sand in it. Now, with that sand, the horsepower isn't everything. Driver skill means a lot. As you can see on Manuel's replay there, he's kicking up an awful lot of dirt, but he doesn't get a whole lot of traction.
All right, well, let's go down to trackside. Mike Goss has Manuel.
Manuel, doesn't look like there's a lot of traction at the starting line.
No, there's not at all, and after you get going, it's got some traction, but I don't know how it's going to be.
Did you hurt your engine? We saw a lot of smoke.
I lost a cylinder. I don't know which one. I have to check it.
Well, we were talking about Ford versus Chevy, Rich, and this time it's going to be a Dodge. Tommy Holman at Saturday Night Driller. He's out of Wayne, Ohio, and the distance to beat, of course, 260.72 feet, and that was set just a moment ago by Manuel Moreno.
And he's got a pretty long wheelbase on this. This is a Dodge Super Cab. So let's see if that's got an advantage. He comes out real easy. As you can see, he's got a pretty good run so far. He's not kicking up a lot of dirt. Like I said, this dirt is mostly sand, so it's hard to get a lot of traction. But he seems to be doing very well coming down the track there, Stan. His weight's pretty good hanging off the front there. He's excellent run so far.
It looked like he had a lot of movement in that front end, but still got the distance, well, kind of behind Manuel with 247.26 feet.
Let's see how he does here on the replay. As you can see, he comes out real easy. He's not giving a lot of gas. Yeah, you're right. He's bouncing around a little bit there, a little bit of wheel hop in the front end, but that's heavy weight on the front is what causes that. Now, he does a real good job here at the end, just kicking up a little bit of dirt.
Tommy, when there's no traction at the starting line, what's your driving strategy?
Well, I try to keep her turning real slow coming out of the hole and then just gradually keep putting a little more. We way over revved the engine there. Like you say, there's no traction. We're having a terrible time getting hold of that track.
Well, that's kind of good advice from a man who is a seat-of-the-pants driver. And next we have Jerry Weaver, and he's driving the KENDALL motor oil truck. He's out of Thornville, Ohio, and of course the distance to beat 260.72 feet.
Yeah, he doesn't have a name for this truck. It's just that's his sponsor, KENDALL Motor Oil, which is a good sponsor, and he's showing it off right here. He comes out of the hole nice and easy, just like everybody else, over to the right-hand side, not kicking up much dirt at all, Stan. He's doing a real good job right now, but he seems to be slowing down a little there. He's giving a little too much, I think. He's pretty much wide open. Oh, I think he should have gone a little bit further than that.
Yeah, it looked like he should. 258.71 feet. Rich, it looked like he didn't wait. He didn't punch it until he got to about the 75-foot mark.
Yeah, a lot of guys do that, Stan. Some of them wait a little bit longer. Some of them come out of the hole real hard at the beginning, and that's where your driver skill comes in.
It's just a little bit, about 2 feet behind. Let's go down trackside with Mike.
Is this track going to get worse or get any better?
It will definitely get better. I mean, you know, you take your numbers when you draw them, and you wait till next week. But it will get better, I'm sure.
Well, he says it's going to get better, and here's a guy that can see if it is going to get better. Greg Cooke in Wild Blue. He's the home state favorite out of Mount Airy, North Carolina.
Now, let's see how he does coming out of the hole now. These guys got to just come out a little easier. If you come out too hard, you start kicking up too much dirt. You get too many RPMs on the tires. They start spinning a little too fast, and you lose traction. A little bit slower, it'll start to bite in and try to get down to the hard surface of the dirt. And let's see, he's coming out. See how slow he comes out of there? And right there, like you said, at about 75 foot, he starts to open it up. Once he gets his momentum going, he gets that sled moving, there's where he'll have a little bit of advantage. Get down a little bit farther down the track, and he's got a great run.
Oh, he does. He does. I think he's been listening to us, Rich.
Oh, he has excellent
good run. Look at that, 275.92 feet. He's our new leader. He really knows that soil.
Yeah, he does. Well, he's from North Carolina. He ought to. Now, with all that sand in there, he worked it just right. Came out real easy, and then as soon as he got about halfway down, that's when he really opened it up. He had his momentum going, and that's what helped him take a little bit farther.
Well, he knew exactly what to do. He waited till that 75-foot mark, Rich, and he really gave it the punch.
Greg, you've taken the lead. It looks like it takes a really delicate touch on the throttle tonight. It's kind of like driving indoors. It's real tricky. Now, is this track going to get any better? And, you know, what exactly is the problem with it? The track's pretty wet, and there's a whole lot of moisture in it. It can get better or worse. It's really hard to say right now. Okay.
Well, according to Greg, it could get better or worse. And a close friend, Terry Davis in Super Thing. He's out of Tappahannock, Virginia, in Super Thing.
Yeah, now he comes out a little too hard there. As you see, he did a little bit of a bounce there. And look at all the dirt he's kicking up. Now, he's not going to have as good a pull as Cooke had, but he's trying to do just what he did. He's running right along in his tracks thinking, well, he did real good. Let's see what happens here. But he's a little behind.
He is definitely a little bit behind. He needed to go 275, but just 256.79 feet. And that's just not enough to take him into the top three. So Terry Davis is going to take a quick leap back to the pits. Just show you how light the back ends of those trucks are. Jeff Carter reminding him about how important safety is.
Safety is important for both the driver and the spectator. Here are a few features in our four-wheel drive class. These side shields, they'll keep any internal engine parts from flying out underneath the truck. The clutch is enclosed by the steel housing. On back, your transmission is built of thick enough aluminum to keep it contained. On back down, your drive shaft into your transfer case is all enclosed. Under the vehicle, both the front and the rear drive shafts are contained by the drive shaft loops. Now, these loops are there to contain the drive shaft in case of any breakage. At the rear of the vehicle is a kill switch. When the truck is hooked to the sled, this is also hooked to the sled. So if the vehicle breaks away from the sled, this will kill all power to the engine. The safety equipment most visible to the fans is worn by the driver, the fire suit and the helmet.
Well, safety is very important, and I'm sure our crowd here in Raleigh can be mighty thankful for all the safety features. There you see Leon Nixon. He's getting ready for his run. We'll continue in a moment. North Carolina State Fairgrounds in Raleigh, and while Leon Nixon's getting ready for his run, let's take a look at the current standings. Greg Cooke currently in the lead. Wild Blue, 275.92 feet, and Manuel Moreno Jr., 260.72. Yellow Rose of Texas, followed by Jerry Weaver, the KENDALL motor oil truck, and he's just a tad behind. Now, hoping to climb on that leaderboard, Leon Nixon, and slow and easy. He's out of Edenton, North Carolina.
You understand, he's around this area. Now, this guy usually doesn't run this circuit with TNT. Now, he's local, and he come out and see if he can run with the big boys. Let's see how he'll do. He should be familiar with this sandy track.
Oh, he looks like he's taking a chapter out of Dave Wyzorik's driving school with his head out the door.
Now, the reason he's doing that, Stan, he's watching that left front tire to make sure it doesn't break loose. Now, look, he's having little problems with his suspension there. His tire was doing a little bit of wobbling there, but he's get it straightened out, and he's got it biting right now. It's starting to bounce just a little bit. There's where it shows the suspension.
He's got a good run, though, Rich.
He does do an excellent job.
Good run. Look, 269.81 feet. This is going to move him into second place.
Yeah, you see right there, he's looking down at that tire, and then as soon as it breaks loose, he knows he's got to get in and hold on to that steering wheel, because it's doing some wobbling right now with that front end. You can see both tires wobbling back and forth. It might have helped him. He did real good coming down this sandy track.
So that's the result of a suspension problem?
Not actually a problem. It's just of the design, the way these guys put them together. Now, it gets a little rough out there sometimes.
All right, well, let's take a moment to go down and find out all the story from Leon Nixon as Mike Goss has him down at trackside right after his run.
What is the driving style on a track like this?
Just don't break the wheels loose too quick down there and get the truck with a hook quick. My truck usually hooks pretty quick out the hole.
Now, here's a guy that should be used to the sandy soil out of Hollywood, Florida. And he's kind of chewing that gum pretty quickly. Glenn Davis and Mr. Sparkle.
As seen right there in his windshield, he was the Indy Super Pole champion. This guy's got a lot of experience. Good shot at that pretty blue truck right there. Now, it's a Chevrolet S10. And let's see if he's got enough horsepower and the driving skill to get this vehicle down the track. Coming out a little bit hard there, Stan. He's kicking up a little bit too much dirt. And he's got it wide open, and I think that's going to hurt him.
Well, he has to go 275 feet or more. And I don't think he's going to do it, Rich. He gave it a good shot.
He's going to be a little bit short. Right there, as you can see, he kicked up an awful lot of dirt as Flood had him dead in his track.
265.20 feet. Well, this is a pretty good run, and it's going to move him into third place.
Well, good. Third place, that's a good spot so far. Let's see if he can hold on to it. Now, watch right here at the end. As soon as that sled has him stopped, he just kicks up a bunch of dirt.
All right, let's go down trackside to Mike.
Well, Glenn, you're from Florida where the tracks are a little sandy. Is this any comparison?
Yeah, pretty much, it takes a driving skill out here, but I just finally got my 700 cubic inch motor done. A guy named Greg Kramer in Hollywood built it for me, and his first run on it, I wish I would have had one of my smaller ones because it don't take much horsepower in this kind of a track.
Well, Rich, here's a veteran coming up. He really should know how to drive this truck. And on this track, Jim Lyons, driving Stitch's 10-kin out of Louisville, Kentucky.
As you can see, Stan, he's going over to the right-hand side the same way everybody else has. Now, everybody's been running that side. I wonder if anybody's going to come down and run that lower side.
That's a good question. He has to go 275.92, and he's got a good chance. Let's see how he does.
And he does real good. As you can see how slow he's coming out of that hole. He's right there at the 75-foot mark, and he's still not giving it at all. He's just easing that truck down the track, trying to keep them tires spinning real slow, and just to get enough traction to get as far down as he can. And he comes down to the middle a little bit.
He's pretty close. He's very close, 271.94. Rich, this is going to move him into second place over Leon Nixon.
Well, it's good. He did a good job, and he earned it. Watch out. Here he comes out of the hole here. Nice and easy. Just babies that truck all the way down the track. As you can see right there, a little bit of dirt kicking up, but not a whole lot, and he doesn't even have it wide open yet.
Jim, what's that track like out there?
Boy, you just have to use all your driving skill, and it's not a great track, but it relies on the driver a lot. So you get these tracks, you got to be able to handle it, or it's a bad deal.
This is what they call seat of the pants driving, isn't it?
Yes, sir, and you hope you can do it the best you can. Greg made off a good run there. He sure did lead her out and make a good one, so he's going to be hard to beat.
So next it's going to be a young man out of Winchester, Virginia. The Three Bears team, driven by Scott Smith. I guess he figures it's going to take a bear to get down that track.
Yeah, and he's got one in there with him,
sure
as a passenger. Let's see if it's going to bring him some good luck. Now, look how easy he's doing, just like Lyons did in the previous run. He was watching him, and you can learn a lot from watching Jim Lyons. But he gets on a little bit sooner there, and he's giving it a little bit more throttle than Lyons did. I don't think he's going to get as far.
No, I don't think so either. He did wait to punch it about 75 to 85 feet down the line. There it is, just 219.28 feet. Not good enough.
Well, let's see on the replay here what happens right at the beginning. As you can see, just real easy coming out of the hole. He's doing it just like Lyons did, but then he hits it a little bit too soon, I think. He gets a little bit too much gas. He starts getting the tires are spinning, and he's losing traction.
Again, he's over on the far side of the track.
Everybody's been running over there, Stan. I don't know why. Maybe they'll see somebody come down the other side soon enough.
Well, here's the producer's favorite. Dave Willoughby out of Athens, Ohio, driving that 1944. Beautiful truck.
It is. It's a nice-looking truck there. As you can see, the hitch right there is where they hook the chain up to, and then he's going to hook the kill switch right above it.
So Dave Willoughby in the 1940 Ford, and he's got to take it that distance or better of 275 feet.
Look how his tires are turned a little bit there, Stan. Now, watch when he takes off here. It's going to spin around a little bit. Now, he had to straighten that up. I don't know if that's going to hurt him or not. We're going to have to wait and see. He's taking it real easy coming out of the hole. And there's about 75-foot mark right there is when he nails it. Now, let's see if he can hold on to it and get that sled moving down the track. It looks pretty good.
It looks like he may have waited too long to pour on that power.
I think you're right, Stan. I think you're right.
Yeah, 246.91 feet. He waited a little bit too long, perhaps.
Well, let's see if we can see what happens on the replay exactly. Right there is just starting to give it a little bit of gas. You've seen the dirt just start to kick up. And then when he hits that 75-foot mark, he opens it up. And like he said, it was a little bit too soon, and it hurt him.
So Dave Willoughby in that 1944 came up a little bit short, 246.91 feet.
David, a very loose track here in North Carolina. What's your driving style out there?
Well, sir, being from the Buckeye State, we're more accustomed to a tighter soil with a lot of red clay. We're out here on this sand, so we try to gear the truck rather high in order to hook up the motor and work it.
Well, so next it's going to be a guy who's used to that sandy soil. As a matter of fact, drives airboats when he's not driving Killer 2. Charlie Lowe out of West Palm Beach, Florida.
Charlie Lowe also's got one of them tank vehicles it's also called Killer. It's a good-looking truck. Now let's see how he does here with this vehicle. He's coming out a little bit harder than everybody else has been doing. He's still on that right side of the track, though. He's not doing too bad. He's got a pretty good run, Stan.
He's not doing bad at all. He's coming close to Jim Lyons' mark, who is currently in second.
Now you can hear his throttle. He's on and off the throttle, and he was still getting a little bit of traction pulling the sled. And he was just getting inches and inches just at the end there, a little bit more. Now look here, as you can see, that front tire is throwing that dirt right back underneath that rear tire. Now that doesn't help. With this track being as loose as it is, that doesn't help matters much.
He was playing with that throttle, trying to hook in.
Right.
So next it's going to be the young man out of Howardtown, Virginia, Temple Brizendine, I guess driving a truck that's very befitting of this track, Footloose.
He's got to go 275.92 feet to take the lead, and let's see what happens. Now, he's been around for a long time. This is a fairly new truck, and let's see how he's going to run it coming down this track. He's a little bit more in the center stand than these other guys, been way over to the right-hand side. Maybe they're starting to move down the track a little bit.
Probably getting some ideas from the other drivers.
Now, look how slow he comes out. Now, this track is so loose, and these guys don't want to get the RPMs up too high too quick. They just want to get that sled going. As you can see, the weight box is just about at the top, and he's still moving along. It's a pretty impressive run.
Not bad at all. All right, 267.40 feet. Rich, this is going to move him into fourth position.
Well, that's good. It's a good spot. And as you can see right here, it's hardly kicking up any dirt at all. And then down at the end, it really starts kicking up a little bit farther.
All right, let's go down to Mike Goss, who's ready with Temple.
Temple, you drove it off the line about as slow as anybody tonight, and it was a pretty good run.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping somebody would try the left-hand side of the track before I ran, but I didn't have that luck. I think it's about gone over there, so I did the best I could. I felt like I had a pretty good run for what I was pulling on.
Well, Rich, look at this. Guy is taking a gamble on the near side. He must have been listening to Temple. Here's Tony Osteen in the Georgia Rebel out of West Green, Georgia.
Well, if anybody's going to do anything in that left lane, this guy ought to do it. He's a very good puller. He's been around a long time, too. As you can see right there, 85 and 86 Super Pull champion, the side of his truck. He's still got to go 275 feet. And on that left-hand side, now Temple says it's real loose, and he's hoping to see somebody else run here. Here's his chance, but this guy's behind him. He's coming out real hard. Look at all the dirt he's kicking up, but he's moving along pretty good. And that weight box isn't all the way up yet, but it's creeping up slow. I don't know, Stan.
I don't think it held up for him. Look, 238.14 feet. I'm sure Tony was looking for better things out of that run.
Yeah, I think he thought that he could have done a little bit better on that left-hand side, but it didn't help him. I think everybody's going to end up back on the right-hand side of the track.
Well, so the near side of the track isn't so hot either, as Tony Osteen points out. Let's go down trackside. Mike Goss is with Tony.
Tony, you're as crafty as they come. What made you decide to go to the left side?
I didn't figure I could do any good on the other side. It was just a gamble, you know. You're out of it. Sometimes you can make crazy decisions and get back in it. That time it didn't work.
Well, let's see if we can have a thief here in the whole event. And Roger Crawford driving Bandit out of Granville, Ohio. He's got to give it a shot. He's got to do better than 275 feet.
And he's the last one to give it that shot, too, Stan. Now, he's got way over to the right-hand side, just like everybody else has been doing, so he thinks, well, he's the last truck that's going to be able to beat him, and let's see if he can do it.
Now, he's looking for that traction, and hopefully it will be there for him.
Well, let's see how he comes out of the hole here. Everybody's been doing it a little bit different ways. He's coming out just about normal, like most of them do. A little bit of hop there with his rear tires. He nailed it a little too soon, I think. Right there past the 75-foot mark, he starts to open it up. Coming down. He's not looking real good, Stan. I don't think he's going to do it.
That track just isn't holding up, and nope.
As you can see the cone right there, there's where Greg Cooke went, so he was a little bit behind.
Certainly was. 258.13 feet. And there you see a very happy family, Greg Cooke's family, and we'll get back and talk with Greg in just a minute. Well, taking the win tonight in Raleigh, North Carolina, it was an impressive win. Greg Cooke driving Wild Blue, taking the truck all the way down 275.92 feet. A home state winner, and I'm sure he's mighty proud of that. Let's go down to Mike Goss.
Greg Cooke from right here in North Carolina is your winner. Now, Greg, is that an advantage being from North Carolina or not?
None whatsoever. We usually have better tracks than this in North Carolina. This is more like what we pull on down in Florida.
Well, you've got to be tickled to death to win in front of your home state crowd tonight.
Oh, man, I really am.
It's been a hard winter and summer for you, hasn't it?
I've tore up a bunch of parts this winter. I've had a bunch of bad luck, but, you know, we've hung in there, and we hope it's going to pay off.
Okay, good luck to you.
Thank you a lot.
Well, as Greg receives congratulations from his family, this wraps it up here in Raleigh, North Carolina. For Ritz Hooser and Mike Goss, I'm Stan Rhodes. Join us next week on the Nashville Network for Trucks and Tractor Power.